I'm an educator, so our incomes are very structured based on number of years that you have. It really doesn't matter if you're good or not at it. You just kind of keep going and you get paid based on your experience. With this, you can take it into your own hands and do as much or as little as you want. And that's kind of one of the reasons why I looked at liens and like, well, I like that. But then she introduced me to deeds, and if the properties were hitting right, they are a lot more bang for your buck if you're smart about it. It's cheaper than going to college and you learn a lot more. My name's Jason Youse. I live in Tampa, Florida, and I'm a high school administrator. So I knew a little bit about tax liens, but I knew that it was more complicated than I wanted to get into. But seeing the program that was set up here, I knew it was kind of a one-stop shop. Like, it really seemed to answer a lot of the questions that I had about, well, where do I find this? Where do I find this? So it really brought everything together, and it's something I was looking for years ago, but it just kind of fell into my lap now. I'd say confidence in being able to navigate different sites, knowing where to go, what red flags to look for in certain properties, knowing that it's not just liens, there's deeds out there, and that was fun to find as well. I was working with Erin, and we started in July. I didn't know much. I knew my local economy here in Florida, and every time they spoke in any of the sessions, in the live sessions, they were always talking about Florida. When I said, hey, this is where I live, I know different areas here, she was able to guide me through the basics to start, and then as the weeks went on, we really focused on some of my interests and areas that I knew nothing about, so that I'd be a little more comfortable doing it on my own. I actually bought a deed first. We went to the auctions. I looked at some properties, made bids. There were some that they were obviously selling for much more than they probably should, so I was not involved in those, but it was towards the end of the auction, so maybe the deposits weren't as high anymore, and I was able to get one of those. But that was probably 3 months in. And then for the liens just seemed a lot easier to me, looking up the property and clicking a few buttons and it's kind of right there. It was a pretty quick process. Just go for it, because you could sit 10, 15, 20 years from now saying, hey, I wonder where I'd be if I had done that. And I didn't want to be in that position anymore, because I kind of feel like about 10 years ago, I didn't have anyone holding my hand through. Now I really feel like any questions that I have, I can still ask anytime.